Imagine going to work without getting a paycheck. That's what is happening right now in the US.
Probably seen all those headlines. Airports could shut down. ATC traffic controllers, shortages everywhere. TSA workers could not be reporting to work.
Sounds like the aviation system is about to collapse.
Is that actually true?
We can tell you what really is happening as of October 20th, 2025. I've seen airports that are still working, so air traffic controllers are working, ATCs are still screening passengers, airplanes are still taking off, everything is going as normal, but with a huge difference that they are going with no paycheck.
That's definitely a pain for all those we so-called essential workers, so including TSA workers, ATC traffic controllers, the national defense workers, the police. They are working, but they are getting unpaid, as in right now. That is going to be added up a lot of stress to them. So Gabriel, why does a shutdown ever happen?
Pretty much what happens is the Congress doesn't pass the funding bills to the agencies, so they can agree on the funding. The agencies start receiving the money and they need to shut down. They have to close, they have to send employees home, except essential workers. In this case, in aviation, most of them are essential workers. Not all of them, but the ones that are for TSA, air traffic controllers, they have to show up, and they have to show up knowing that they won't get paid until the Congress sends the new funding.
Just to make an exclamation here, we're not taking any sides. We are reviewing this government shutdown issues solely that how it's going to affect our aviation industry.
We are just trying to explain what's happening and who is really paying the price. In this case, all of the ATCs. So we're coming up at the end of the month next week, and they are not going to receive any paychecks as of now.
We are flying. Gabriel just ended a trip 3 days ago, and I just ended a trip yesterday. How do you feel, Gabriel, along that flight operations that you carried out 2 days ago?
The shutdown has been for about 21 days. I have not had any delays regarding the government shutdown, but I have seen that it has been affecting passengers. They are getting worried that their flights are gonna get canceled. I also seen pilots are worried, or they come to work thinking that something is gonna happen to their trips, either cancel, removed, or there's gonna be delays. Of my personal experience, I haven't had any delays regarding the government shutdown. But we have seen news. Airports with not enough air traffic controllers.
Yeah, airport with an unmanned tower. That's what I've seen with the headlines. News can be scary, exaggerating, but honestly, everything's still running. My experience kind of similar as well. And also, there are passengers come up to me and asking me that, hey, are we gonna departing on time? Hey, are we gonna land it on time? I'm having this 45 minutes of turnover connecting flight. Am I gonna ever make it? Wow, those are the fear from the passengers that expecting those unknowns. So we do understand that. If these issues keep further delay or further getting worse, then it's gonna be an issue for all of us too.
Let's rewind. This is not the first time that we have a shutdown, that the US suffered a shutdown. So this has happened, and the aviation safety has already been hit by some of them. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the last one?
The longest shutdown that we have that lasted 35 days in 2018, we have over a third of the FAA workers has been furloughed. One of the scenarios in LaGuardia Airport, we can see a long extended line, S-line queue at the terminal just for the security checks. By that being said, what? A flight without passengers? No way. So we need to put that flight on hold. The departure time gonna be delayed because we need to wait for the passengers to clear all their security checks before boarding.
We still have ATC, we have TSA, and all of those essential workers, but it's not perfect. First, there's gonna be less people showing up. There's more people calling out sick, and they don't want to show up because they are not gonna get checked by the end of the month. Second of all, that's some of the essential workers that are coming to work. But there's also some projects from the FAA that are frozen because of the shutdown. So let's say we receive our certifications from the FAA. So that's non-essential, so they are not working right now. And everything starts adding up So that means there's gonna be delays for the next time the people needs to get a certificate, people that needs to get a new license or something.
No new pilots, no new aircraft that it get registered, then the operations cannot run. Manufacturer getting headaches at the operational sites. The carriers also getting headaches from receiving new planes.
Everything starts slowing down. And if you think this is a system that we have in the US, the US aviation system is one of the strongest ones in the world. It's like an example to the world that we have. And if the system in the US is not strong, it's getting weak and weaker and weaker, that's not good for the world, because it's a good example that we're not given to anybody else.
How are we, as the international markets, gonna look into the most strongest, the most mature industry of aviation, which is the US market, that is getting poorer and poorer? We can say that basically we're not led by a model, you know. We should be, but we're not right now.
But this is not only about an example that we have to give. We also talk about the most important thing, safety. There's a closer chance for error in the aviation system because people are affected emotionally too. Because you still have to pay your bills, you still have to pay your mortgage and things to survive every month. But now you know that you're not gonna get your paycheck. So what happens now is that your mindset is already set up somewhere else. You already have to keep working like nothing is going on. Air traffic controllers, the moment that they are working, they are controlling airplanes, and that time it's a lot of pressure for them. Plus all the pressure from not getting paid, that means there's a closer chance for safety error.
Early of this year, the shortage in air traffic controllers staffing has already become an issue for the government and also for the FAA. Another curveball throwing to them with a government shutdown with no funding, that's going to add up more tens into these staffing issues. And to get it back for recovery after the funding issues has been resolved, that's going to take time, guys. So these issues is not going to be recovered instantaneously. So we can definitely see that's going to be a time for recovery once the issues has been resolved.
If we think safety is a big issue right now, and then let's say that an air traffic controller can handle this certain amount of planes that we have. If we add weather to this, that means the air traffic controller is gonna keep working under more pressure. Now we're getting closer to winter. If we continue with the shutdown, there's gonna be even more pressure. We can go to less air traffic controllers. There's gonna be a shortage. There's gonna be more pressure, and that also adds up to safety. And we could reach to this point that an air traffic controller at certain airports, they cannot handle more traffic. They're just gonna have to end up either closing or accept any more arrivals at that point. So something that happened to one of the airports that we saw
LA?
in LA, it became uncontrolled.
Unmanned tower operations.
So it's an uncontrolled airspace that happened, and that's something that could happen also in big airports or smaller airports because of the shortage of air traffic controllers.
In Philly, so we do have a different departure point to take off. So that specific departure point, for example, New York Center is going to be receiving right after we departing. That fix that has a lot of plane that wanted to take off to that fix, the ATCs itself, with the limited number ATC working in the center, they are not going to accept the same amount of the volume of airplane take off to that fix. They will limit the number for the aircraft to take off, or they will extend the time for all of us to take off. At the back of our pilot's mind, we might need to concern about taking more fuel way before we actually departing. Even though the clear skies is there, weather is good in the outstations, we still need to consider a little bit of our operational side to get more fuel. How, as a passenger, can we be better prepared to encounter this issue?
Everything might look normal to you as a passenger, but behind the scenes, we have to know and understand that TSA screening agents and also air traffic controllers are working without a pay. That adds a lot of stress, and we can also know that people are gonna start calling out fatigue, calling sick, so that's gonna add more pressure to them. It's gonna be slower to the passengers. TSA screening might take a little bit longer. So be prepared to show up to the airport a little bit early. just in case something happens.
Be proactive, that's what we wanted to say. And also, when you're booking with your flight, then maybe choose a connection flight at least 90 minutes connection time for you to be transiting into that main hub, the big airport. For example, New York, Philly, LA, Chicago. Yeah, get yourself a little bit buffer before you connecting your next flight to your hometown or to your destinations.
Also, something you can do is you can be kind to them because they are working with no pay. Trust me, some words that some kind words from passengers might change that attitude, might change that pressure that they are having on their shoulders.
Have the airlines apps. So sometimes, or maybe these days, it's gonna be having a lot of changes of the gate, changes of the time. Then you will be better prepared for your travel experience with all the notifications that is sent into your email or sent through the app, so that you can get ahead of the time what has been changes. And also be patient too.
We don't know if we have any ATC viewers
Or TSA.
or any essential workers that are watching this video, but if you know somebody, please let them know that we are very thankful because of their work, their hard work with no pay. We are still able to continue flying.
We only control one plane. Thinking about them, handling, monitoring, controlling the change of the entire fleet. Thank you so much.
There are some airports that are uncontrolled 100%, but there are some airports that we really need air traffic controller, especially the Bravo airspace.
Yep.
We really need air traffic controllers, TSA to keep it safe. So we really appreciate all the work that you are doing.
Hopefully this will get resolved soon. And thank you for all the essential workers to keep the aviation safe.
To all the passengers that are traveling, please be kind, respect them, give them thanks, because thanks to them, you are able to keep traveling right now in the US, in and out the US. And also understand that we have them and it's
Not granted.
not granted. They are working without a paycheck right now.
If you think this really helps you to understand what's going on, please share it, and also please share it with people around you so that everyone gets much more understanding of what is behind the scene. And we'll see you next time.
And once again,
Welcome on board!